what, arrives in the middle of farts?
Yeah, that's my life story.
That's what video viewers have just arrived in.
Well, I wanted to make it consistent between the audio and the video.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the audio
Well,
people
without
get a little
audio.
extra in the pre-show, and that's why it's in the treasure chest for the patrons. But you don't want to keep everything over there.
Yeah, we're a classy show. It's a classy holiday show.
Yeah. Speaking of that, December 4th is coming up. Bill Murray.
Oh
Merry
my
Christmas.
gosh,
That
peak
looks so
TV.
At least that's only one. It's not an entire series.
It's like now you want everybody to slow down.
I'm going to be watching episode 5 of Star Wars. I believe it's called The Empire Strikes something.
Oh my
You're
god,
not sure.
those episodes that just
Tonight.
I'm howling
Pretend.
watching.
Oh,
I don't
thank
find
you.
it stupid having rewatched them recently because I think I tried to block 2 and 3 out of my memory, and I'm watching you going, I don't know who these people are. What are they talking? What? And then I felt better
And then
about
the robe
myself.
guy. Yeah. That's how-
Oh yeah, the names. Special boy.
Yeah. I can't think about it too much because if I start talking about it, then I have a state of mind I now have to get
Oh, I
into, which knows the previous episodes I've watched, but tries not to know anything
Oh,
else.
you got to separate them.
Yeah.
Only Tom can partition his own brain. and
It's
the cat.
You just get G-parted. It's open
Yeah.
source.
Oh, nice nerd humor.
Right. Well then, shall we do a podcast, Allison?
I would like that.
I would
be
like that
fun.
too. Thank you for showing up and doing this with me.
Showing up.
All right, here we go.
0.02% of the Daily Tech News Show were brought to you by me. If you would like to decrease my already meager equity, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support.
This is the Daily Tech News for December 1st, 2015. Made it through another month. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Allison Sheridan, host of the NosillaCast podcast at podfeet.com. Do you still have your ever so slight Mac bias, or have you evened that out?
No, sometimes it's good to lean into who you are. I'm
Right.
not one of those people who claims I'm not a fanboy.
Just
but
be honest, right?
You got to do that. And I do want to say one thing. I think I speak for everyone when I say that I hope that Patrick's scarf washing goes okay today.
Yes. If you're wondering where Patrick Beja is, he was on the show yesterday because he had some very intense scarf washing. Happens on the first of the month. So, it takes all day. And he has to go to sleep early. It's late right now for him in France. So
I'm glad I was able to step up during his time of need.
yeah, no, we both appreciate that, Allison. All right, let's take a look at some headlines. Oh, just look at them. We'll actually read them to you. TechCrunch reports that WhatsApp for Android appears to be blocking links to messaging app Telegram. It's not blocking them in iOS, just in Android. So we thought, well, maybe it's a bug. Android developer Jernej Virag posted on Twitter that he found a snippet of WhatsApp code that deliberately targets Telegram in the Android version. Telegram noted on its Facebook, or not on its Facebook page, Telegram noted that its Facebook page has been taken down, but it also said it's actually been down for a while and we never use it, so we didn't notice.
Wow, that is so sleazy.
I want to hold off and give WhatsApp a chance to explain, if they will, because they are owned by Facebook. The Facebook page going away could entirely be from lack of use for some reason. Who knows? And maybe this snippet of code is misinterpreted. It does look bad, though.
Yeah. But if you were going to do it, why would you only do it to Android? That's the only thing that makes me think maybe they're just stupid, not malicious.
And you're like, well, they'll push out a new version. They just had a new version of Telegram, or I'm sorry, of WhatsApp pushed to iOS November 30th.
So,
Now
and if
the
that one's okay.
Maybe you can push code faster in Android than you can in iOS.
Yeah, the block is coming.
Yeah.
Just
Who
stuck
knows?
in the review process. Right? All right, Engadget reports that Nokia is taking pre-orders for its Ozo virtual reality camera. The Ozo is a professional-grade device that uses 8 synchronized 2K by 2K camera sensors to capture its surroundings in 360-degree spherical video. The camera records to a 500-gigabyte solid-state drive that can hold up to 45 minutes of footage. As for the price, $60,000 with $5,000 down plus an optional $1,500 docking station. The first cameras will ship in Q1 2016. Tom, have you ordered yours?
I don't think I'll be getting one of those. Prices are coming down on these what is it? Pi-R spsheridan cameras.
There you go. Thank you.
But yeah, these cameras are expensive, but that's why they announced it in Los Angeles. They're trying to get filmmakers to buy this. And if you compare it to buying, say, a Red camera or something like that, these prices make more sense.
Yeah, I shouldn't make fun of the price because that's, for what that's doing, that's insanely inexpensive.
But we know from experience that 5 to 10 years from now, these things will be selling for $199 at Best Buy, should there still be a Best Buy at that point in time. So it is a little frustrating to be like, come on, man. Let's get the cheap versions out so I can use this, to Instagram.
Are you saying we want instant gratification, Tom?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later in the show.
that.
Because, yeah, we do. Nokia shareholders want some instant gratification. They'll meet in Helsinki Wednesday to vote on whether to approve the acquisition of France's Alcatel-Lucent. The New York Times notes that analysts think the takeover could be good because Nokia specializes in wireless networking, while Alcatel-Lucent is best known for equipment for broadband networks, things like routers, stuff like that. So they have some overlapping interests there. Nokia obviously has had some bad mergers and acquisitions in its recent past. Siemens, for instance, they had to take over because the partnership wasn't working. Of course, there's the whole Microsoft deal. So a lot of people are nervous about this, but it does seem to be like a good meshing of interests.
Yeah, that seems a lot more sense-making than some of the others.
And it solidifies Nokia as a networking company for sure.
Right. Google has updated its Data Saver feature in Chrome for Android and claims it can save up to 70% of data use. The Data Saver mode will now remove most images on web pages when loading on a slow connection. Users can choose to see the images if they want. The new Data Saver mode will come to India and Indonesia, with other countries to follow.
I
want
right,
this now.
Yeah, right. Well, you can get the Opera. Is it Opera Now? I suddenly blanked on the name, but there's the Opera app that will save data on multiple connections, on apps as well as browsers. So you can just download that and use that. It works really well. What Google's trying to do is say, hey, use our Chrome browser because it'll do a similar thing, but just in the Chrome browser. Still very cool, especially like the way that it detects the slow connection, blocks the images, and says you can either allow the images to load if you want to see them all, or you can just tap on and select individual ones and say, I just want to see that one, load that one.
So it's a really effective content blocker.
I thought about that, right? I mean, we get into these arguments sometimes about ad blockers and whether we as a user have a right we're taking money away from news organizations, but the underlying technology is that I should be able to download only the parts of things that I want. That's how the web is built, and that's what this is doing.
Right. When you talk about the Opera thing, does that run on iOS or is that Android or desktop?
Yeah, you can get it for iOS.
I should check that out because I tend to burn data when I'm on travel, something fierce, and be interesting to see how that could help.
Yeah, and I have unlimited data, but it's also that unlimited data from T-Mobile that throttles down to slow data.
Right.
Opera Max is the name of it. I couldn't think of that second word, but yeah, look for Opera Max. And you can actually save a lot of data if you're on a limited data plan. It's pretty good. Launched in February 2014. Doesn't get enough press, if you ask me.
Go check that out. Cool.
So there you go. Hey, spsheridan, you know him?
I've heard of him.
Wanted us to note that Adobe will change its Flash Professional CC, that's for Creative Cloud, to be called Animate CC starting early next year. In fact, last night Adobe wrote on their blog that the company will, quote, encourage content creators to build with new web standards, and they mentioned HTML5. They're basically telling people, stop using Flash. Adobe will work with Microsoft, Google, and Facebook to keep existing Flash implementations secure for things like Flash games on Facebook or browser implementations, but they are definitely making the transition to saying Flash is not necessarily the future.
But what this announcement really is they changed the name, right?
Yeah, and Adobe Animate does more than just Flash. So they're actually shifting the emphasis to say, hey, you can animate in all these different technologies, including HTML5, in this tool, which will also continue to be able to do Flash as well. But it's kind of admitting like, you can use it for Flash, but you probably don't want to, so we're going to let you animate all kinds of ways.
So just kind of pushing Flash into the background, but not abandoning it yet.
Yeah, Flash into the background where it'll eat up your battery and your system resources.
Yeah, the Verge article that you pointed to here talks a lot about the reasons why it would be really nice if they did go even further, but it's a good article.
Yeah, and I get why they actually need to continue to support the Flash that is out there, because you don't want to pull the rug out of people and have insecurities and vulnerabilities.
Yeah, yeah. 9 to 5 Google says Motorola will begin taking orders for the Moto 360 Sport smartwatch on December 18th for customers in the UK and France. U.S. buyers can pre-order starting January 7th, 2016, or buy at a Best Buy, because they do still exist, on January 10th. The cost is $299 for the fitness-centric wearable.
It's all about durability with this thing. It's like it's sweat resistant.
There you go.
That's one of the words they use.
I did accidentally wear my Apple Watch in the shower the other day. I forgot about it, and it was just fine.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, it seems to work.
Took it on a road test.
I still love the sport stuff. I still love the fitness stuff. It drives me nuts that people I hear say, "Oh, I hated that watch. It was always telling me to stand up." Yeah, because you're sitting too much.
No, it would tell me to stand up while I was standing, is what I didn't like about it.
That's gotten better.
Right.
I know you abandoned it after about an hour and a half of wearing it.
A month. I gave it a full 30 days.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Ars Technica reports that Monday, a U.S. federal judge ordered the public release of some details from a national security letter, and that's the kind of thing that does not happen. This letter was issued by the FBI to Calix Internet Access in 2004, when Nicholas Merrill was its president. The FBI asked for a target's web browsing history, IP addresses of everyone that person corresponded with, and records of online purchases. Then the FBI dropped the order, but Merrill fought to be able to make it public. It's like, look, you ordered this stuff. Now you don't want it. You obviously changed your mind. I need to be able to make that public. And he fought for 11 years for the right to make the details of the order public. He was allowed to admit he got an order 5 years ago, and he kept fighting until today when he's been allowed to make the details of the letter public.
You got to give this guy tenacity points, if nothing else. But yeah, that was pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know what we expected the order to say, but that it did say absolutely everything the target had been doing in everything in the web browser history and IP addresses of everyone they corresponded with.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
This is the FBI just saying, we're going to send you a letter. You can't tell anyone you got the letter. You're going to give us this information about a person without, any recourse to appeal and say, wait a minute, I'm not sure you've got this right. And you can't tell anyone that you gave us the information. So that's what Nicholas Merrill was fighting for, the right to say, look, okay, if this is going to lead to a conviction, great. But if you just go around requesting information and changing your mind, that is not good policy.
Yeah, yeah. Apotheo submitted a Medium post from Nick Selby noting, this is a terrifying story, that Los Angeles City Councilwoman Nuri Martinez proposed that the city access a database of license plates captured by cameras in locations known to be frequented by prostitutes, and then send the car owner a letter explaining the vehicle was seen in an area known for prostitution. The Los Angeles City Council voted Wednesday to ask the Office of the City Attorney for their help implementing the plan.
And Ms. Martinez, Councilwoman Martinez, said that if you get the letter and you weren't engaged in any illegal behavior, no harm done. Just throw the letter away. But that it might make people who are soliciting think twice about going into those areas.
This is so horrifying. This is so, oh my gosh, this made me crazy when I read it. So I get that letter, Steve opens it, sees I've been frequenting a place with prostitutes. I'm thinking that opens up some questions at home. And then
you're like, no, it was Waze. Waze told me to go down that road.
Exactly. I'm driving on a public street. I didn't even slow the car down. I stopped at a stoplight. That was it. And then the author, Nick Selby, pointed out that this could become part of public records. So you could have your health insurance affected by the fact that it looked like you were maybe where there were prostitutes.
I think that's a stretch. I doubt that the health authorities would go to that length, but it does. But just the fact that it becomes a public record is a bit like, oh, so now everybody can tell where I was driving. It goes back to the issues with, hey, we've collected a database of your information. And I went back and forth on Reddit whether I thought this belonged in a tech show or not, because it does seem like more of a public policy story.
Yeah.
But it is the tech of scanning the license plates and our responsibility with what we do with databases that I still think is a news story in technology. We haven't quite cracked that. And this is one of those examples where we always say, like, look, it's fine to collect things into a database as long as you use it responsibly. I'm not sure this is using it responsibly. And she's right. Just sending you a letter doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. And if you haven't done anything wrong, don't worry about it. But that's always a bad that's a slippery slope to say, well, if you're not breaking the law, don't worry about it, because there can be misunderstandings, like you're saying, and who knows what else this information could be used for once it becomes public record. And are we going to start tracking everyone and publishing their routes online because they have license plates? It is public, like you're out on a public street. So part of me says, well, you know what? When you're out in public, you shouldn't expect a whole lot of privacy. But this is the city making an effort to use a database that was collected for a different purpose, which is to fight crime, right? It's for the police to be able to prove that somebody was where they said they were, and then using it for another purpose, which is ostensibly to discourage crime, I suppose. But yeah.
But even if it didn't do any harm to the people you sent the letter to, this Nick also points out that this could really discourage anyone from going to that neighborhood for a legitimate business.
Sure.
So
Yeah, and that is a very real factor.
This neighborhood is a cesspool, you know?
And that's not going to help that neighborhood any, for sure.
Hate everything about it.
Captain Kipper wanted us to mention the UK's Ofcom is warning that electrical interference from Christmas lights could degrade your Wi-Fi reception. Ofcom has released a Wi-Fi checker app for troubleshooting problematic connections. Problem is similar to that caused by microwave ovens, if you've ever noticed that, or cordless phones. Even Bluetooth sometimes can get in the way of Wi-Fi. In this case, the issue arises because most strings of lights have unshielded wiring, so they give off more RF.
Okay, I need to now add to my DTNS guest checklist. I need to add turn off blinky Christmas lights. Right?
Well, it doesn't blinky or not. It's just
they
wiring.
said blinky was. They said
Blinky's
blinky was
worse because it's constantly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, see.
But it could be, even though non-blinky ones could get in the way.
They said that they noticed they've got a spike in calls to internet service providers during Christmas light season.
That's why you need those low-power LED ones that are, I don't know. Yeah. And don't plug the Christmas tree directly into the router anymore.
Oh, but I want it on a.
There are reasons to plug the Christmas tree into the router. I get that. You just got to keep it a little farther away. That's all I'm saying. Yes. So tell me, what's popular in music these days, Alice?
Oh, I'm a big follower of the music. So Spotify named Drake with 1.8 billion streams this year as the most streamed artist of 2015 in its annual Year in Music list. According to Fortune, his album, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, attracted 46 million listeners. Other entries include Rihanna as the top female artist with over 1 billion streams and 57 million listeners, and Justin Bieber for most streams in a day with 36 million streams. Fortune notes that neither Adele nor Taylor Swift appeared on the list, as both kept their new albums off Spotify.
What do you need, Justin, for Adele and Taylor to stay off Spotify? That's what you need.
So keeps his numbers up.
Yeah. Adele has got a song on Spotify, I think, and I could be wrong about that, but I think what she's done is say, I'll put my single on there. I'm just not putting the whole album on there. Taylor isn't putting any of her music on Spotify. And so that's a big win for Hotline Bling and Drake and his dancing with his sweater, which has made me feel better about my own dancing, to be honest. Thank you, Drake. Bloomberg reports that Dongjin Ko will take over as president of mobile communications for Samsung. He replaces J.K. Shin, who was head of that group, but does remain as president and co-chief executive officer of the electronics business, where he will focus on long-term strategy for Samsung. Ko oversaw the Knox security feature, the Samsung Pay product. This is the first major executive change at Samsung since J.Y. Lee took over day-to-day operations when his father and Samsung chairman, Lee Kun-hee, had a heart attack last year. So, yeah, J.K. Shin, do you remember the infamous Samsung Unboxed event in New York?
Yeah.
The Broadway event? That's where we all met. Most of us met J.K. Shin for the first time in public.
And only now they're taking him out.
Yeah, they're not taking him out because of that. I know some people thought that he should be removed after that.
Perhaps the lagging sales.
It's hard to, the lagging sales is probably it. Samsung does make changes with their executives regularly. It's not unusual for a change to happen. But J.K. Shin has been in this role for quite a while. So it is probably them saying, hey, you know what? Why don't you go over here? You've done some great stuff, because he did great stuff with the early days of the Samsung Galaxy. They want to get his ideas over there and let Ko take a shot at it. Because Samsung Pay, I think the jury's still out on, but Knox has been very successful.
Okay.
Hey, folks, submit your stories to us. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. That Los Angeles story we would not have talked about had it not been for the subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. It does have an effect on what we bring to you on the Daily Tech News Show, and that is a look at the headlines. Now, Services, bringing us stuff. Yesterday, we wanted some L&L barbecue. So we went to DoorDash and we said, bring us some L&L barbecue. What? You're out of Spam Masubi? And we ordered anyway. But we still got some Hawaiian barbecue in our house conveniently. Postmates, Google Express, Amazon Prime Now, all trying to bring you what you want faster without you having to leave the house. Maybe that's too much convenience. We're going to talk about that. But first, Allison, Amazon saved your Thanksgiving.
This was crazy. So Steve had an iGrill, which is a device that has a couple of thermometers that you stick into your turkey, and then over Bluetooth it talks to your iOS or Android device, so you don't have to stand over the turkey the whole time. And this is the kind of thing you tend to use once a year. So he pulls it out, and of course the batteries had leaked all over like they always do, and so he pulled them out and he got out his toothbrush and a nail file and fixed the contacts and everything, put it back in, and now the thermometers were working, but Bluetooth wasn't. So he takes it all apart again, and he pulls it apart, and it's got there's a plastic piece broken in it that apparently was holding the Bluetooth module in the right spot, and he tried super glue, couldn't get it to work. And he's really sad because he's got a 30-pound turkey. I don't know why he has a 30-pound turkey.
It's cooking, right? But he can't check the temperature yet.
Right. He's going to have to go over and look at the thermometer like an animal, right? So that's just...
Who does that?
Yeah, exactly. So he's sad. And you don't want him sad on a day he's cooking for 11 people. It's just not a good day.
Although I have to pause you there for a second and say that the Sheridans are admirable in their commitment to repairing things. Like this is just one example that you're seeing here.
There was the time I fixed a 15-year-old Rubbermaid bucket after I drove over it with my car. I was really proud of that one.
You guys are good. You're good at that.
$5. Yeah, so he's got this thing. He's really sad about it. So I said to my son Kyle, I said, Kyle, see if there's someplace open that you could go get him one. I mean, I know it's a long shot because it's on Thanksgiving, but see what you can do. So he goes out and he looks around. Best Buy's got him. So he calls them up and they say, yeah, but we're not open until 5 o'clock. So he's all depressed. So Lindsay, our daughter, says, hey, check Amazon Prime Now. See if it's in your area. They deliver really quickly. So he doesn't call. He goes online. He finds out Amazon Prime Now is available. At 10:13 a.m., he clicked buy, and at 10:28, the doorbell rang. 15 minutes. Someone handed
must live near the warehouse or the storage area.
He even got in-app. He got a little map showing him the person coming down. So we're having breakfast, and he's holding his phone under the table, showing me that this person is driving over. How did they even find an iGrill on a shelf, even if you had a warehouse and you had 100 things? How did you find it, put it in a bag with a barcode, and actually bring it to us in 15 minutes? He was very, very happy when it came. By the way, the service charge
that's what deep learning gets you. Like they predicted. They're like, we're pretty sure that the Sheridans are going to leave the batteries in their iGrill. It's going to corrode, and they're going to need a new one. So make sure you have that ready.
Because they always do that, right? People will think the shipping was enormous. The shipping was $8.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of enormous, but do you mind sharing the price of the iGrill? Is that?
It was around $90, I think. So
so less than 10% of the cost of the thing, and for the convenience of getting it, in emergency time.
Yeah. Now they did suggest a $9 tip, and we were so excited. I shouldn't say we. Kyle went ahead and paid that. But I mean, it turned from a disaster to a happy cook. He was so excited, and he got the iGrill 2 that takes 4 thermometers now.
Well, yeah, he got the new version, right?
Yeah.
Are you sure he didn't leave the batteries in there on purpose?
Might have done. And Kyle got his Christmas shopping done. Boom, all set.
Yeah, right? There you go. And by the way, $17 to ship for that kind of convenience is not outrageous. You definitely are right to give a big tip for somebody on Thanksgiving bringing something like that in 15 minutes.
Thanksgiving.
But, okay, that brings up my first question okay, that's great convenience. Not everybody can afford that. Not everybody's going to be able to lay out $90 at the drop of a hat, much less throw an extra 17 to make it happen.
Sure.
Is that an example of I'm not saying you're rolling in money here. I'm just saying, like, is that an example of
$100 bills?
Right.
Is
that an example of a digital divide where it's like, well, sure, those of us lucky enough to be able to afford that are great, but we're going to leave everyone else behind, and they're going to have to just do without. And if they do, is that a big deal? Like, oh, so they don't have a Just Grill? They can cook a turkey like we all can.
Yeah, I mean, I think the $90 device is certainly the financial divide there, that somebody can afford $90 to not walk to the barbecue to look at the temperature of the turkey,
Yeah.
right by itself. But I guess the price of delivery did not sound like something that was a big differentiator to me. I mean, when I ship something via the post office, it's $5, $6, $7, $8, right? When I
Sure.
ship something, I send something over FedEx
Hey,
to
if you're sending something heavy, it can be a lot more than that even.
Sure, that's something little. So I don't think the price of shipment was too much. But you make a good point about tech being too easy. I can picture that we're evolving to a state where we don't leave our houses. And for the geek crowd that watches your show,
That sounds great.
oh, it's awesome, because we used to have to talk to people on the phone. Now we don't have to do that anymore. If we never have to go to the store, I picture.
Here's the thing. I like going to the grocery store. Everyone thinks I'm nuts. I don't want my groceries delivered because A, then sometimes they don't pick the right thing. And B, then you have to be home. It's more convenient for me to just go to the grocery store when I want. And I get that feeling of shopping for something that I actually need versus going to a store and buying stuff that I don't need out of my system. But everything else, I just want to be sent to me.
So,
I don't want to have to go to the dog food store. I don't want to have to go to the hardware store. I don't want to have to go to whatever, to get like an organizer. Like, oh, I needed a bin for Sawyer's food because he's got different food than Django now because she's getting older. And I didn't want to have to go drive down to the Container Store and buy it. I just ordered it online.
Steve and I got into a discussion about this, and we thought about. We started talking about how do you ever get any kind of physical movement as a result of this. So in my case, I happen to hate grocery shopping. Steve likes it; he thinks it's fine. But I go and I don't.
Steve's like me; he's crazy.
Yeah. But because he does grocery shopping, I go and it takes me like 3.5 hours because I have called him up to 4 and 5 times while I'm at the store because I don't know where stuff is. I don't find it pleasing at all. We had Webvan when it was out, and I loved it. And Steve didn't like it. He was glad it folded because he wanted to go back to the store. I don't know. His little friends.
Webvan, that's a deep cut. Kids, ask your grandparents what Webvan was. But I didn't like it because they never had narrow enough shipping times or delivery times for me.
Okay. We had somebody home at the house all the time, so she put the
helps,
groceries away too. So that was really good.
Handy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Get one of those.
Good fruit and vegetables too. So, but the thing we were talking about was, would people still get any kind of exercise at all? So, and Steve's point was, well, yeah, people go to the gym, they go running, and I said, no, normal people don't. We do.
A lot of people do, but yeah, for the Anthony Carbonis of the world who hate running and don't want to do it, and maybe aren't as good about motivating themselves to do it,
right?
There's some built-in exercise, but is that the problem? Is that margin of exercise of having to go to the store going to make the difference if they're the kind of person who doesn't want to go to they're just going to take elevators and escalators and get somebody to bring their groceries out for them anyway?
I don't know. I don't shop for anything. I don't like going to the mall. I'm the perfect geek, so I don't like going near people and picking things out. I mean, if Best Buy was closer, I would like that, but that's about it. But I noticed watching.
See, that's funny you say that because that's usually the example of what the internet is killing. Like, if you want technology, it's not like clothing where you have to try it on. It's not like produce where you want to pick out your oranges because they don't have spots. Electronics or something you can have shipped, but you actually like to go there. I think we underestimate how much people do like to go shopping for the things they enjoy, and not because there's some practical reason for it, just because they like the tactile ability to play with stuff.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you don't like the hardware store. I love the hardware store. I love looking at all the weird stuff, especially the crappy hardware stores. I don't like a big hardware store. I like
you want the true value.
Yeah, exactly. The true value, the one with the weird guy in the corner who just hangs out there and tells you what you need.
And can answer everything.
Yeah.
Right?
You bring him apart from under your sink, and he starts telling you what you're supposed to do with it.
And if he doesn't know, he asks Miguel, because Miguel knows. Between the two of them, they have all of human existence covered.
Exactly.
That is my hardware store here. And there is something attractive about doing that when you have the time. It's when I just need nails, right? Or I just need a particular type of screw. I have to go there and I don't get to hang out and talk with Miguel. I'm going to have to actually turn around and come back home because I need to fix this thing. That's the part where it's I just want it to magically appear. But do I need Amazon Prime now to bring me screws? I think that's overdoing it.
That probably is. But what about a plumbing problem? What about if you're, you know,
They
you
can
need
get it to me in 15 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty compelling.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying it's always going to be 15 minutes, but even an hour.
yeah, it's by the way, they did not promise 15 minutes
Right.
whatsoever. They definitely did not. But it's, you know, plumbing is the kind of thing you always end up going to the hardware store 3 times. Always. There's no plumbing project that doesn't involve 3 times.
Yeah,
Well, that third time,
electrical
I don't
too.
want to do it.
Yeah. Electrical too, because you're like, oh wait, I need to make sure I get this right, or I will burn down my house.
But are we going to become less and less social as a result of that? What do we go out for? So if we've got the takeout food coming in, we got the hardware store, we got and I'm
You're
going to
social with the delivery people.
Yeah, as long as they're on time, I'm pretty nice to them.
I don't feel like that is my biggest fear, because then you can choose when to be social, and I think we will. I think we all be like, oh, the internet will keep us from meeting people, but it doesn't. We always want to meet up with the people we meet online eventually if we like them enough. So what worries me more is, will it make it too convenient for us in the sense of buying things we don't need, or wasteful delivery because it's just one car bringing one thing to me in a box with packaging? Like, it just doesn't seem efficient for anyone but me.
Yeah, with the urgent one, you're probably right. They say that delivery on, you know, general kind of schedules, it's a lot more efficient. Like let's take iPhone delivery day. There's FedEx trucks all over the nation delivering these phones. If every single person who was getting one went and drove to the store,
Sure,
that would
that
be a
makes
lot
sense.
more cars on the road. The instant gratification ones, though, I mean, that guy did not stop at anybody else's house. I don't think.
I wouldn't imagine. Yeah,
really amazing.
he wouldn't have had time.
Yeah, that 15 minutes, that's probably more point to point.
Yeah. BioCal, by the way, threw in a Wall Street Journal article from 2014 that I'll have in the show notes as well, about Amazon patenting anticipatory shipping, a method of starting to deliver packages before you click buy, because they can tell what things might be ordered by what kinds of people.
Well, we talked about this a little bit in the pre-show, is that could get back to the iGrill, that the iGrill is something that was stocked and available at that kind of speed.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
skateboard,
just that
maybe not.
simple. Yeah, of saying, hey, you know what? These are the kinds of things people might need on a Thanksgiving morning. Let's make sure we have them.
You know, like cook those foil cooking pan things.
Yeah, right.
You know, potato mashers.
Roasting pans, potato mashers.
Roasting pans, that's what they're called.
The basters. Lots of basters, I bet, got
Yeah.
delivered.
Basters, probably real big. You
Yeah,
imagine
baster bust, what are you gonna
shipping
do?
for a baster in 2 hours.
Hey, if you don't want that turkey to be dry, especially 30-pound turkey. Where did you find a 30-pound turkey?
I don't think it was his intention.
How do you accidentally find a 30-pound?
Well, I think he wanted a 26-pound turkey, but they handed him a 30-pound turkey.
Well, that's just rounding up.
Yeah, that's a gigantic percentage increase.
All right, well, let us know what you guys think. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com, or even on the subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Tyler put up a post about this as well. In fact, we got an interesting article or a comment from Coupatrix on the subreddit, basically pointing out, like, hey, for gift giving days like Christmas, batteries getting delivered would be a convenient thing to have. Our pick of the day comes from Matt in Baltimore, Maryland, who wanted to recommend a series of games for iOS and Android called The Room from Fireproof Games. I've played some good Fireproof games. The series mixes adventure and puzzle gaming with a light touch of eldritch horror. It's a ton of fun and great to get the brain juices flowing. All 3 games can be purchased on the iOS App Store for about $10. And the first 2 games are available on Google Play for $4. This series is by far my favorite mobile game franchise, and I suggest you all take a look. If you get stuck on any puzzle, there's plenty of walkthrough onlines to assist you. So what are you waiting for? Yes, thank you, Matt. A good puzzle game. Fireproof does some good puzzle games, so check out The Room. In fact, I'm starting to think now this may be the game I played. It's got kind of a Myst feel to it, if I remember right.
Nice.
So anyway, check it out. Send your picks to us too. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks.
And I do want to thank Matt for calling me lovely contributor. I appreciate that.
Well done, Matt. Claudia from tropical Brazil writes to us. complaining about how YouTube only promotes professional channels. In the good old times when we searched for OK Go treadmill dance, we would get it, and on the suggestion list, every Tom, Dick, and Harry who did a treadmill dance. We would get suggestions for other OK Go videos, parodies, imitators, other videos with the general theme, maybe other videos done in one shot or something like that. I noticed something was wrong when last year I saw YouTube Rewind, and I had never seen or heard of at least half of those. I thought YouTube algorithm was doing something wrong if I had not come across their most popular videos naturally. 1 year after that, and I'm pretty upset with YouTube suggestions. It only shows me things from the channels I have recently watched. It seldom shows something from a different channel and only from high-ranking channels. If I stop watching, the videos totally disappear from the suggestions, even from sites that I subscribe. I'm afraid we will never again have a runaway hit like Star Wars Kid or Numa Numa Guy. There's absolutely no more space in YouTube for the little people, only for the sponsored channels.
P.S. Tom's wife works for YouTube.
Oh, right, yeah. It's true that my wife does work for YouTube.
Interesting.
I have always felt that YouTube drops the ball on suggestions. I don't have the sentimentality for the heady days of the OK Go treadmill suggested videos. I never felt they were good much at all, but she's right. I still see the suggested videos and I'm like puzzled why
the
they're
connection is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the target. Maybe neither one of us, Claudia, are the target market.
But the idea of a world without a Numa Numa guy.
I know. It chills the blood.
Sad. It's sad.
Rich from lovely Cleveland really enjoyed our discussion on Patrick's piece from yesterday's show. As a continuation of his thoughts on integrated GPUs, while Overwatch has been in development for some time, Blizzard may have been further put off from an OS X version because of the more recent changes to the Mac product line, specifically the new MacBook. The new MacBook clearly states that for their mainstream laptop, Apple is always going to prioritize portability and battery life, even if that means a substantial hit to performance. Even for integrated GPUs, the new MacBook has half the core count as the current gen MacBook Air, further deprecating its already meager gaming potential. Even if the Air persists for another product cycle, it doesn't make sense for Blizzard to develop graphically intense games for an OS platform that Apple has shown they don't mind moving mainstream performance backward for the sake of hitting a form factor. I'm not saying the trade-off isn't worth it to consumers, just that it makes it hard to base a gaming business on.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think a bigger factor would be that so many of the desktops have integrated GPUs with the 21.5 inch, or is it 20.5 inch? Anyway, the littler 4K iMac, I thought he made a big point on that. But yeah, you definitely would not do that on the MacBook.
And then Carl from Gothenburg, Sweden, listened to our conversation on Sonos, Spotify, AirPlay, and proprietary systems, and just wanted to say particularly to Veronica, there's a great Sonos hack you can do with the Raspberry Pi that even works well with the new Raspberry Pi Zero, using some very simple instructions found over at shrinkmonster.de, and installing Node.js with instructions you can get from adafruit.com. You'll be able to connect the Raspberry Pi to your home network and use it as a kind of gateway between your AirPlay devices and Sonos. In effect, all your Sonos speakers show up as AirPlay-enabled speakers on your device. I use this super simple hack to listen to DTNS while cooking in the kitchen on my Sonos speaker, so say bye-bye to the proprietary Sonos app.
That is so cool. I wonder if it works when your Christmas lights are blinking.
Probably not, right? I just want to tell you, Carl, that is an awesome hack. Thank you for sending it. When you said Raspberry Pi and Node.js, a lot of people suddenly didn't believe you when you said it was super simple. So it's probably more simple than it sounds. Go check it out, folks. We'll have the links in the show notes as well. And if that is just like, no, I'm not going to buy a Raspberry Pi, that's just not me, you can also do a similar thing with the Airport Express, where you can use that to bridge the gap. It's not quite as fully featured as the Raspberry Pi hack that Carl's talking about, but it is pretty easy to implement, and there's an article about that from Macworld that we'll throw in here too.
Huh.
Lots of ways to get around it. Sonos is going to make it AirPlay compatible, but you're going to have to buy new hardware. That's my guess.
Of course you will.
Yeah. And that is it for the show. Thank you, Allison, for coming back. It's always great having you on.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We should find something to argue about next time. We get along. Yeah,
we were pretty agreeable this time. Yeah. Or were we? I don't think we were.
Yes, we were.
No. Okay, there we go. Podfeet.com is the place to go to get NosillaCast, and you, not only on the show, but also on your blog, have a really thorough explanation of what was going on with Dell.
Yeah, Bart Busschots did a guest post for me on podfeet.com, link in the show notes, where he goes through and explains in really good, concise terms, here's what happened, here's who needs to worry, and here's what you can do about it. We have a section we do call Security Light, and the rule is he's allowed to tell us about terrifying things as long as he tells us how to fix those things.
Oh,
like
good.
just doom and gloom and hide in the corner stuff, light your hair on fire isn't as much fun as, yeah, this is horrible, but here's how you fix it. So he's got some good, concise instructions, points you right to what you got to do and whether you have to worry about it. And yes, you do have to worry about it if you have a Dell. So it's a really great post. I really appreciate him giving us that.
Yeah, if you were confused by that Dell certificate story, or you've got a Dell and you're still not sure if you've fixed it, definitely check this out, podfeet.com. We'll have the direct link in the show notes as well. It's December 1st, which is the day that patrons start having their contributions collected by Patreon for us. So a special thanks to everybody who's made the show possible. Every day we do the show is because of you. If you're willing to become one of those people, head on over to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. You don't have to give through Patreon either, although that's the way we can tell our continuing support, kind of helps us budget. We had a couple of very generous people give us some one-time donations on PayPal, and we thank them extremely for that. Everything helps. And, it is holiday season. If you're looking for a gift, there's the brand new sexy DTNS mugs at dailytechnewsshow.com/store. Let's get
Is
you
it
one
true?
of those.
Were you kidding, or is it true that there's a My Wife Works at YouTube t-shirt?
Oh, yeah, it's not a joke. There is a Tom's Wife Works at YouTube shirt at dailytechnewsshow.com/.
Oh, there's a Born Ready t-shirt.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
so many options, folks.
I have not been
dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. Catch the show live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Back tomorrow when Scott Johnson talks about the new Adobe products, not just Flash. We'll talk to you then. Here's Scott now.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom.
I just had a great time reading the preliminary responses to our survey.
The first 500, if you will.
The first 500, yeah. I love our patrons. They are so smart. I was like, ooh, good idea. Ooh, good idea.
And it's mostly multiple choice. This is just with like two things. They're like, hey, if you got anything else to say, throw it in here. And they're throwing in great
like,
stuff.
oh yeah, incredibly insightful thing. The number of one person, by the way, I'm sorry, I should give you a title first, before I delve into this. But,
I just
Wait, you forgot to say great show. Great show.
It was a really good show.
honey, what's this letter from the city? It's just so good.
Red Light District Cameras is also pretty good. But, honey, what's this letter from the city?
Sometimes you just gotta have one of those ones that makes you want. That's almost a wonderfully beautiful clickbait headline.
Yeah.
Honey, what's this letter from the city?
It's the most Wi-Fi-less time of the year.
That's actually good too.
Don't plug the Christmas tree into the router.
Although sometimes maybe you need to.
Just
Yeah,
stop
that's
using
true.
Flash just for your own good.
Honey, what's this letter from the city?
The war on Christmas lights. Too much convenience. Amazon pre-crime.
Oh,
So great.
well, that is good.
Okay, so wait, I want to say one more thing, which is because I bet there's an answer to this, which is I have been trying for so long to create or think of a service that will get us a graphically pleasing interface where we can put all the pics that is grouped by category, that looks very nice, that has a link to purchase it, and tells you like who did the pic. And Pinterest isn't it. And I've not done Flipboard yet, but I kind of feel like maybe it has to be designed. So that's when I saw someone in the survey was like, I'd love to see a really great place where I could just.
I saw
like,
that too. Yeah.
It feels like to me it feels like an app. It feels like it would be such a great app.
We could, at the bare minimum, we could just list things. right?
Yeah.
On the Pix page, and that's what we've tried to do. It's not terribly usable though.
No. Yeah.
There's Amazon. We could make an Amazon store because we do have Amazon referral links, and so
True.
for anything that you can buy through Amazon, that would work. But there are loads of these Pix that are not in Amazon. They're scripts or they're iOS games or whatever. So
Yeah, you want like a pretty picture, or if not a picture, then like a good visual description, so a logo or something.
well, and before that, you want the ability to drill in by category or by
Search.
date.
Yes, very good point. You want a searchable form factor. And I just like, there's so much great graphical design, user experiences now, that I feel like that of all of the things we do, that is the one that would benefit the most from
Wasn't there
a little.
an article in the show notes that didn't make the cut, but it was about Google Collections allowing you to do Pinterest-y type stuff?
Let's take a
Yeah,
look.
yeah. That
Oh,
was
was the
in
answer on our own show?
No, it was in the for consider. The Google Collections is a new way of taking your photos and collecting them. I don't know that it does what Jenny wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in our for consideration. It was among the 500 links or so that we have every day. Why didn't you see it, Jenny?
Tinbeck, I think it would be.
I keep
Link-
getting Google Plus notifications for collections.
I
Today.
do
I'm
not
sorry, Jenny.
understand
I
collections.
forgot you were talking to Tinvec directly.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they are. I don't understand them at all.
Tinbeck, I think it would be a separate app, but then would link back to our show.
It would ideally be accessible from dailytechnewsshow.com/pix in whatever way. It doesn't what server it lies on doesn't matter, as long as someone who comes to dailytechnewsshow.com/pix can go, oh, that's how I get it right
Yeah.
there. So not an app.
Yeah. Oh, Big Jim thinks subreddit. A subreddit. But that doesn't have the graphical interface that I
Doesn't
want.
have the categorization either.
I want it to be like a shopping experience in a way, but not shopping. I want it to be like the perfect, like, I don't know. I'm not good at user design. I'm not good at design.
Ellie's not happy with this direction.
Yeah. Anyway. A marketplace forum. Yeah.
It sounds to me like a portal.
Yeah.
The game.
Space.
Like the game Portal. Sounds to me like you just want to redesign the game Portal.
Yeah.
Jump through the
Pick
hole.
through the orange
wall.
hole, and then the pick comes out of the blue hole.
T2 said it would have a hard time, anything self-made would have a hard time putting in the right tagging. And I think he's right. I think that's where it lives and dies, in its searchability. Ask Veronica. Dear Veronica, I have a question. Actually, that's a great question for Veronica Belmont. I'm going to write it in. Ellie! What?
She's got better ideas.
No, she knows. She just can't communicate them, and she's so
She's
frustrated.
like, I can only speak in Node.js, not English.
See, that's
I
why
learned the
forums
code
are fun,
already.
because they can communicate. So many ideas.
She just needs to say. I hope she utters a word in the next month or so.
What if she did her first word on our show?
It'd be so awesome.
Stay tuned,
if she
folks.
if she does, you have to make sure you name the show that. Whatever word she says.
A segment.
And she goes, boogers!
Mama.
Mama. Look, she's already trying to like manipulate things and build things
She
and
manipulates me all day.
Like her dad, manipulating him.
Aw, what's the matter?
she's like, enough sitting in front of this screen. Oh, that was cute.
She's at that stage where it's amusing.
You know, this kid is so lucky. She has an entire record of a small slice of her growing up
Oh, that's right.
on this show every day.
That's true.
So now just put out the call. Somebody go through and pull out all the clips of Ellie.
Oh,
and
God.
save them.
This
Every time
baby-
he, every
this
time
baby
he
should
bumps his
remain
mic.
somewhat unacknowledged, I think.
Ooh, a
But yeah, it is
Squarespace
amazing.
gallery.
Ooh, what's a Squarespace gallery?
Oh, but
It's
Tim Dixon
it's one of the
knows it.
features of Squarespace.
Let me look.
Is that Squarespace still around? I thought they were in trouble. lately.
No, they're
Really?
still around. What are
I
you
haven't
talking
heard
about?
anything.
I have like 3 sites on Squarespace. It better not go away.
Did you build them while you were?
I built Sword and Laser before they ever sponsored anything.
Eh?
I built Cord Killers after they stopped sponsoring anything. And I built TomMarrittBooks.com while they were sponsoring some shows that I worked on.
So Shane dropped in a screenshot of his building's marketplace.
Let's see that.
We've been talking about it so long, I forgot. What is it you want to put into this?
So
The pics.
basically, yeah. Oh, I see. So it looks like a. So it looks like a Craigslist. This looks like a Craigslist for like one particular location.
Yeah. Yeah, but that,
Yeah.
look at that.
Oh.
It's got a little picture, got a little link, a little description, date posted, comments.
Yeah. So essentially, what it is the pics, our pics of the day that we use. I would like to take them, since we have now 2 years worth of them, and make it a searchable, a better searchable thing than just on our website, because I tried to keep putting the pics in every day, and it was just like I'd go months without doing them, and then I'd have to put them all in a month at a time, and it was like
And
stunt
again, when
work.
Jenny
Just
says
had tags
not
and
just on our
stuff.
website, she means not in one page.
Yeah,
Right,
not in one
right.
page. A searchable, like I do like
With
that
tags
Squarespace.
and stuff.
Yeah, like Pinterest, if Pinterest let you do more things with its interface. You can't actually move things around on a Pinterest board, which I think is insane. Do you know there's always, in these popular apps, there's always one thing, just one thing that you'd think it's so obvious that they would do that other apps do very easily, and one would be like, an example would be a Twitter edit function, or Instagram.
That's a choice, though.
I know, but in an Instagram multiple account feature.
That I have no idea why. They don't.
Yeah, why? Like why? Like Twitter's multiple account thing is one of the better things that it does. It's so easy to manipulate on the app, and then for Pinterest, it's the ability to graphically move your pins around with ease and not just have it be the most recent thing you pinned. And the fact that I can't do that and that there's this complicated workaround has literally kept me out of Pinterest this entire time, because I like to organize things.
The Twitter
I don't
edit
know.
thing is they're just like, we don't want people to be able to change what they said, and that's been a long running debate
Yeah.
on public forums. Like, should you have the ability? Because some people misuse it, and then other times it's like, well, but it'd be really nice, so I don't have to delete and then
Have
repost.
a wiki background for it. Look at past revisions.
Well, then it becomes a bigger issue because you have to actually do storage and you have to write code for that. It's not a simple edit
No, I
function.
know.
So what they're saying is the trouble of being able to maintain that, we don't think is worth it. What Twitter is designed for the same reason it could have more than 140 characters too, right? But they're like,
Yeah.
no, this is the experience. You can't edit. It's only 140 characters. Once you post it, post. Instagram, I don't think has an ideological thing about multiple accounts. I think they're just like, yeah, we don't think it's that important yet, so we haven't prioritized it. And
know,
probably the
but-
same thing with Pinterest.
I feel like here's what I think is probably going to make it someday be Instagram multiple accounts is when all the people who do social media marketing on Instagram, now that they're more ad focused, are going to be like, yo, I'm a social media consultant and I manage 16 different Instagram accounts. Would you like to make my life easier, please?
They're
And
already
when
saying that. That's not.
Yeah.
That's happening. And Instagram is apparently beta testing multiple accounts.
Are they?
Yeah.
Did
Was that on one of the headline shows?
Sorry. Are you asking me if I listen to the show every day?
No, I'm already searching for the reason why you didn't hear it, because I know you
That
hear
is
every
because
day.
I'm like so obsessed with multiple accounts. It might have been on a
Yeah, I know
headline
that would have
show.
caught your ear. So it might have been on the holidays. But there is no, I don't know about Pinterest and slidability. They're,
Oh,
again, just not prioritizing it.
David Price on the Red Sox. Ugh.
Why don't you like Trello for this, says Allison.
Oh, Trello.
Yeah, they were. That graphic he showed Shane showed was from Trello, but T2 and Big Jim both say no, it's a bad idea, but didn't say why.
Oh, okay. So
Looks
you're just
perfect to
asking.
me.
Well, the look is.
Well, okay, it looks a little 1990s, but
Well, Pinterest looks perfect too, but it doesn't do what I need it to do.
Yeah.
yeah, there's that.
It doesn't work.
And my dining room table looks really nice, but it doesn't do a job either. Oh, I have a Trello account. Look at me go. Oh, look. You know what my first board is? It's called Automation for Tom Merritt.
Ah,
I must have done this with
With Dorothy?
Dorothy. Yeah. This is when we were starting. That is hilarious.
By the way, I gave Patrick that script and told him if he wanted Dorothy's contact info to let me know.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
Because he
Yeah,
heard
she's
me
been
talk
right-
about that script, like the ability to just grab headlines.
Fling it. Yeah,
It's nice.
I love that. And it all came because you did that long video showing you how you got ready for the show. And I watched you go copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I thought Dorothy can fix that.
That's the thing is I've got to figure out how to make that work on my ThinkPad, because when I use the ThinkPad, it's always like, oh right, I don't have Dorothy's script, and I can totally do it. I just either have to take the time myself to figure it out or get a Windows Dorothy.
Yeah. I don't think she'll touch Windows for you. She likes you, but not that much.
She's not a Windows lady, huh?
No. Can you run Unix and a VM on the side?
Oh, well, will her scripts work in
No,
Ubuntu?
but she would write them to work. Well, she did an Apple script, though, so maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. That's right. I forgot it was AppleScript. Ooh, OneNote.
OneNote.
Yeah?
That would require a whole new computer.
Why?
Can you get OneNote on the Mac?
On everything. It's beautiful on the iPad. It's beautiful on the Mac. It's wonderful stuff. Yeah, that's true. And, if you use the... I know the Photos feature looks sort of Pinteresty. Wonder... And you can share notes between people. The Daily Tech News show... I'm sorry, your Daily Tech. The SMR podcast guys, that's where they do their show notes. So you can do syncing across between people. I don't know if it makes a pretty interface, though.
Not to switch to another topic, but the Facebook memories thing has gotten really aggressive with the memories that it is selecting for me, and they're not that good. Like, do I need to remember that 3 years ago I took a picture of the Denny's Middle Earth menu because I thought it was funny? I don't think I do.
So that machine learning isn't quite working for you. You need to go to Denny's.
I know. It keeps sort of, like, giving me these minor moments of my life that I don't need back.
Oh,
I do a lot of screenshots, so I keep getting those.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's really nice that Mark Zuckerberg had a baby.
Oh, right. He's taking time off and everything.
Yeah. Although, can I just...
I'm sorry, but Larry Page also can have babies. Stop being such a Facebook
No, what I was
fan
going to say was I was going to get all up into, well, isn't that just the difference between a guy who can just be like, yeah, I'm going to take 2 months of paternity leave, and poor Marissa who's like, I'm going to be back 2 weeks after my baby.
But isn't that I feel in that case that's Mark Zuckerberg saying, you know what, I need to do this to show people that it's okay to take time off. Like, I am a person who is a high enough public profile. If I take 2 months off, it'll change the conversation. Whereas I feel in Marissa's case that while there is definitely undue pressure on her, she also is the kind of person who probably wanted to get back quickly. I could be wrong about that, but that's my impression of her. Is she's the kind of person who's not happy if she's not at work.
I don't know. For me,
And I could be totally wrong about that, but on the Marissa side, but I feel like Mark Zuckerberg doing it is like he's making a point of like, no, it's okay for people of either sex.
Well,
to take
I'll tell
time
you
off.
what. The next time a female CEO takes 2 months off after having a baby and doesn't get yelled at about it, I will agree with you.
Well, who's the last one who took time off?
That's a good question. Well,
That's what I'm
yeah,
curious
it's a good
about.
question. of a major internet company, it's definitely the last one that we all heard about was Marissa.
Marissa, yeah.
Who
We
set
just don't have a lot of
the
female
standard for the
CEOs.
lady who's actually cranking the baby out.
I tend to find.
Come on, Allison. I know you have thoughts.
Yeah, I do. I took 2 weeks off when my son was born.
See? Because you thought if you took any more time off.
No, because my boss could not be trusted with the salary review money.
Oh, God.
And when I told people that worked more of it for me that, they went, oh, yeah. So I came
but-
in and I did the salary reviews and then I went back out again.
So
Right.
Jen, when Ellie was born, she took 6 months off. But this is the thing, and I think Jen's case would be more applicable. I mean, I understand what Tom is saying about, like, Zuckerberg trying to change the conversation, but I'm also of the opinion, just realistically, I mean, it's just financially unaffordable to do so for a vast swath of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can change the conversation, but until it comes to actual talking of dollars and cents, it's all it is just a nice PR campaign by a very well-off individual.
Well,
to say,
also-
hey, you know, I totally understand. But I mean, the cynic in me just says, hey, great, it's another really wealthy guy that gets to do what he wants.
But
All
he's
the rest
also
of
giving it to everybody, like at Facebook. Everybody gets 4 months. That's the part I
Are
like.
you with me, or see, she's with me. She reached out to me.
That's
Look,
right.
She's reaching out.
Or she's like, Dad, you're embarrassing me.
No, you know, my trouble with this is Facebook has some very odd ways about dealing with labor, and sometimes I
Like
can't-
baby labor or workforce
No,
labor?
like so one of
They
the
employ
things
a lot of babies.
so one of the things that-
Also, my sister-in-law works at Facebook.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
you know, I won't say anything.
It's not untrue.
It's I don't know. It's a longer discussion that probably doesn't have time in this.
Yeah, we actually need to get going because we have to record a different
Yep.
show secretly.
I'll
You didn't hear me
Secret
say
show.
that.
To go.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.